So I do want to first start out by thanking everyone for coming out. Our dedicated staff who put all this together, from calling all the restaurants and doing the table tents to just arranging everything and getting the invitations out. So there was a lot. Anybody in the room that's ever put on an event, there's a lot to do an event like this. So thank you to our staff for making that happen. Yes. My fellow council members who are here, I want to thank Councilmember West Hafner. I saw, can you guys stand up maybe? Councilmember Lee is here. Did I miss any? Oh, and Councilmember Russell got here too. He's already standing. I want to thank all of our nonprofit partners. I want to thank members of our faith communities, our business community, members of law enforcement. I see Dewana Witt here from the Sheriff's Office. Thank you, Dewana, for being here. And for our school leaders. I see many people from specifically the Anoka-Hennepin district, where I've had 5 of my children graduate from. And I see also, I think, school board member Simons is here from Osseo as well. But most importantly, I want to thank you, the residents, the people who live, work, and play here. I'm just happy to see you all come out. I was a little afraid we were going to be in the middle of a storm. So it looks pretty nice out there. We're good. I also want to thank our friends at Thai Fusion, at Milla's Royal Bistro, and Sweet Taste of Italy for dreaming up the food for tonight. To know me is to know that I truly love to bring people together, all people. And so to get food from different restaurants and ethnic restaurants was important to me, and I just love what they chose for tonight as well. My husband does have a camera on me right now and a microphone. So, hi, honey. He's playing 2 roles right now. So, as you all know, I became mayor during a very unique time in Brooklyn Park and in our state and in our country. As a woman of faith, I was told by a friend of mine that, like Esther, perhaps I was made for a time such as this. And I take that very seriously. This job isn't what a lot of people believe it to be. I don't have an office. People always want to meet with me in my office. I don't have one. I don't have an assistant. And I don't have a secret bat phone. I promise you. But just like my council colleagues, we have full-time jobs to pay our bills. And so during my 5 years on the council prior to being the mayor, meeting with constituents, responding to emails, answering phone calls, that is all part of being a council member. So for all of you in the room running for council, it is a thing. It's a lot. And sometimes you get calls at 5 in the morning from a different country. It's always interesting. But what happens when you become the mayor is all of those things just increase a lot. And so it is a really big job during a really important time. And all of the people who reach out expect and deserve our attention. And I'm proud of our council. I believe that we are attentive, that we are responsive to our constituents. So with the pandemic, civil unrest, crime at an all-time high, people always ask me, why did I want this job? I tell them that I love this community. To know me is to know that I'm actually not a politician. I'm not a fan of politics. I say that all the time. I deeply care about all of the people in this community. And as we face real challenges and continue to go through these times that we're in, I am more optimistic than ever that together we can do anything. So you're kind of maybe wondering, what is the state of the city? I've never been to one of these. So it's more than great music and appetizers. It's really an opportunity. a chance for us to take stock of what we've been up against, what we've accomplished, and what we hope to achieve in the days, the weeks, the months, and the years to come. Now, we do have real cause for celebration here in Brooklyn Park, and I'm going to just go over a few of the things that I'm most excited about, but we do have a lot of really great things happening here. So many of you may have heard of our Small Business Development and Acceleration Center. We did a crazy thing one day. The EDA decided to purchase a mall on the corner of West Broadway and Brooklyn Boulevard. And the mall is full, so we have great tenants in our mall, except for the biggest space in the middle, which used to be a gym. I think it was a Gold's Gym. It was a Lifetime. It's been a gym. It's not going to be a gym anymore. In fact, we demolished the inside already, so the pool is gone. There was a pool in there. Who knew? Literally from the outside, it looks like it's about as big as this, but it's big. So we invited U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar and Congressman Dean Phillips to come because they just gave us $1 million to help us with that project. Yeah, pretty cool. We also recently approved the work of LIBA, which is the Liberian Business Association, and I see Jackson George, the leader of that group, back in the red there in the back of the room. Thank you, Jackson. Jackson and I go way, way, way back. He was actually the very first Liberian that I ever met in Brooklyn Park. It's his claim to fame with me. Construction will also be beginning in the near future. And so once it's finished, it's going to be the home of many small businesses who are just trying to get off the ground. But it won't just be space for them. There will also be technical assistance, people to wrap their arms around businesses, to mentor businesses, to say, this is how I did it successfully. Now, some of you know I own a business, and that is amazing. If I had that, I would be thrilled, because it is really hard when you decide you want to open a business and you never did that before. You don't know how. And so to be able to provide that assistance to many, many small businesses as their start will be amazing. We also, youth programming. Our youth are very important to us in Brooklyn Park. And despite the ongoing pandemic, we've continued to offer dozens of programs aimed at residents of every age and stage of life. Did you guys know that pickleball is now becoming a really huge thing here, especially with our seniors? I'm a senior now. And so, John, we're going to learn how to play pickleball. He's a little more senior than me. You should be playing pickleball already, come to think of it. But we just really want to provide opportunities for all ages of people to have fun and to thrive and be successful in Brooklyn Park. We also started a youth entrepreneurship program. Again, I think this is so cool. People could start out as a young person with a business that they could grow into adulthood. Now at my store, we have a young Brooklyn Park woman who goes to Champlain Park High School, and she owns her own lip gloss business, and she sells it at my boutique. And so I love this idea of seeing more young people understand and catch that entrepreneurial bug, I'll call it, because that's what I have. We also have a career pathways program, and then we have Brooklink. And that program matches over 100 young people to internships over the summer at companies like Boston Scientific. Some of them even intern here at the city, which I know the city staff really love because they get extra help in the summer. But it's an amazing program that we work to support. Also reinvesting in our park system. The community recently approved a $26 million park bond, and we're beginning to see some of the impacts of that. Have any of you been to River Park lately? It's amazing. You should really go check it out. There's a lot to do down there, and we've invested a great deal of money. I see Brad in the back of the room, our Director of Recreation and Parks. So him and his team have done a great job. We also have record investment in business development. The Brooklyn Park Development Corporation, which I'm a part of, approved 2 micro loan programs for small businesses, $100,000 in what's called Beyond Credit micro loans, and then $60,000 in emergency relocation and reestablishment loans for small businesses that are impacted by the recent sale of an office building in our community. Again, getting our arms around and supporting our businesses is critically important and exciting. So we do have, not everything is great. We all know that. We do have things going on that we aren't necessarily happy about or proud of. The list of our problems sometimes feels long and daunting, and maybe resources feel like we never have enough. But I still believe that our biggest strength is in the bonds that we make with one another. So I want to make sure that our relationships remain at the forefront of our work, particularly regarding public safety. Gun violence and other violent crimes have increased in our community to levels that we haven't seen before. And while those trends happening across Minnesota and across the country are happening here, I don't want us to be okay just accepting that for our future. The past 2 years, we had 7 people shot. 3 of them were children. And I'm going to point out a mother's love who's right here in the hot pink. I love these ladies. They are boots on the ground. They're the ones who are showing up across the community when things happen like this. And there's a lot of work to do. One of the things that we know is when a mother who is struggling just to keep it all together because she's a single mom working maybe multiple jobs. Maybe she finds a gun in her child's room. She doesn't know what to do. There's no one to ask. And so typically, she hands it back to him and says, "Get this out of here. We got to fix that. There's work to be done there." And again, none of these mothers should feel like they're alone. That's tragic. So we know there's a lot of reasons for the increase in violence. We continue to exist in a world of inequality where many struggle to access even the basics. Quality housing and health care, good education, stable employment. The things that many of us maybe take for granted are difficult for some in our community. And here's what I know. Crime doesn't happen because of just one thing. And it's not going to be solved with just one thing. So I'm happy to share a bit about our public safety experts at the police department. They've continued to utilize what's called a multifaceted approach to helping Brooklyn Park thrive. So we're investing in 3 key approaches. First and foremost, enforcement, supporting our police officers in enforcing the law and working with our leaders to ensure that the criminal justice system works for all of us. Second is intervention. So supporting techniques designed to interrupt the cycles of violence. I'm proud to say that it is an intervention that we can embrace our partnerships with community groups across the city. You're going to hear a little bit more about Minnesota Acts Now, which is one of the main groups that we work with when it comes to this work. And finally, the one that I think is closest to my heart is around prevention. To know me is to know that I've spent my career working in mostly small nonprofits that were youth-focused, and always with youth who maybe got dealt the bad hand the day they were born, and they needed other positive adults in their life to end up in a different place than maybe what they were supposed to be. So we're working hard to connect with youth in the city, to provide them with strong mentorship and guidance. We want to teach kids and reach kids so that they get the opportunity to make good decisions in their life. And I used to say about my own kids, you can be the best parent in the world. And ultimately, it's your child's choice. In that moment, they may be weak. I know for a fact mine have been weak in moments where somebody says, hey, let's skip class and go do this, or let's go do that. And so we need to equip our parents through our schools in partnership, through our organizations, to help our kids get down a different path. And then for the young people who do end up in minor level crimes, our police officers now advocate really tirelessly to divert them to restorative programs. There are fewer programs of that kind now, but it is critically important. So this work isn't easy, and it's not going to show us immediate positive results. But again, I think together that we can make Brooklyn Park a safe and welcoming place for everyone. So every now and then, especially on Wednesday mornings at 7 a.m. when I get to hang out with a man named Eldon Tessman. Does everybody know Eldon Tessman? So if you drive down 85th and you turn your head to the right, you'll see a barn with a big flag on it. Eldon, I want to say, is 93 years old and has lived in that house his entire life. His family farmed potatoes in Brooklyn Park and owned a lot of this land. So when I think about the people who lived in Brooklyn Park back then, people of modest means who came from lands far away, kind people working to create a stable future for their families. Many of them were farmers or teachers or store owners. I imagine them putting in a hard day's work and then looking forward to connecting with their family and their neighbors right here in our community. So then fast forward, I think about today. We have many residents, 86,000 and some change. People, again, in our community of modest means, many of whom have also come from lands far away. Many of my friends in the room have come from places I've never been. Kind people, again, working hard to create a life for their families. People who look forward to connecting at the end of a hard day with their family and their neighbors. So in a lot of ways, we haven't changed. Our city itself looks different 100 years later, but Brooklyn Park's spirit of earnest living, hard work, perseveres throughout time, and I think that's really, really cool. So I recently had the opportunity to speak to a group of young people. Bishop Harding Smith, Bishop, wave please. I'm just calling you out. Had a group of young people come. He just purchased a building on 63rd and Zane. And we were there kind of thinking, we were asking the young people, what do you envision for this youth center, teen center? Someplace to get some of your basic needs met, places to get mentorship, to find jobs, to get your ID, because you can't get a job without an ID, and you might not have the money or know how to do that. So I was brought upstairs. I didn't really know what was happening, but I was supposed to talk about my story and my path to becoming the mayor. And I don't know what happened to me. None of them looked interested. But by the end, I had one young woman in particular who touched me very deeply with what she said. So I'm going to share a bit of what I told them. So I grew up not far from here. I grew up in Robbinsdale. My dad worked in a grocery store, and my mom was a housewife. It was a very strict home. We had to do chores. We actually couldn't come out of our bedrooms unless our bed was made. I honestly grew up thinking like Good Housekeeping magazine was going to show up at any moment, and we had to be ready. But many of the jobs I didn't love. Every Saturday, my job was to pick up every leaf in the entire yard, including the rocks. That's not easy. And I got a nickel, and then I walked 2 miles, I'm guessing it was, to Wentz, the little candy store, to get sprees. You guys remember those? Anybody? But I learned how to work hard. So all along in my childhood, I learned how to work hard, but I also had a mom who was never proud of me working hard, I was never enough. And I never once heard her tell me that she loved me. So after not being successful in college and letting her down again, I had 30 days to move out. So I moved into the Willows Apartments at 65th and Zane, 5940 building. Anybody else ever live there? I moved in there when it was brand new. I struggled. I had 2 to 3 jobs always. I guess, really, my life hasn't changed in that way. But I was so proud to have a place to call home. Until the first day when my boyfriend beat me up, and that became my daily ritual in my life. He went on to become my husband, and the Brooklyn Park police were involved in my life far too often back then. There were holes in the walls and scars on me, but I survived. Single again, working as a paralegal by day, I was a McDonald's employee at the Edinburgh McDonald's by night. Sometimes it's kind of fun for me. John thinks it's weird. But if I go through the drive-thru and I see like a kid about the age where it might matter, I say, I used to work here. And they look at me like, really? And I'm the mayor now, and you could do that too. The reaction's always different. Sometimes they think it's really cool, and other times they just look at me like, okay, next. So I went on to raise my family. I struggled, again, as a single mom, but I never gave up. With every bad situation, I turned that around into something good. I surrounded myself with friends and neighbors. My neighbors are here today. I was always strong enough to get through, and the key to it all was that I made up my mind, even though my mom didn't think so, that I could do anything. Despite those who doubted me or didn't like me, the didn't like me thing, we've all gone through this in high school and sadly in adulthood. And oftentimes the people who don't like us don't even know us. So what I told the young people is, don't do that. If you don't know someone, don't listen to what someone else tells you. Get to know that person. Make up your own mind. So the bottom line that I'd set to them is work hard, stay focused, and never give up on yourself, even when others do. Because if an abused woman with modest means can become mayor, then any of them could do anything. And that's the thing. None of us, there's people in this room that have never heard any part of that story, and you may have known me for years. But we don't walk around with our stories out for everyone. But I truly believe that that is the key to our success as a community. Rather than passing judgment on our neighbor or calling in when their grass is long because it's irritating, let's knock on the door and find out what's going on. Let's get to know our neighbors. Maybe that person was me. When I was a single mom, I never asked for anyone to help me because I'm a helper. I'm not a helpee. So if you didn't just show up at my house and start cutting my grass either got long or I did it by the light of the street light when I got home at the end of a day, driving kids all over after working full time. That's called real life for a lot of people. So let's not assume the worst in our neighbors. Let's assume the best. Soon you're going to walk out of this room. You're going to hopefully feel like you had a good night. ready for Friday, one more work day until the weekend. But before we do that, then here's my ask. Just remember, it's on us to ask those stories. They're true stories. If you see someone who looks or loves or prays differently from you, lean into that curiosity. Do something about it. Take action, because again, we're all in this together, and that's the most important thing for me as the mayor of this city, is bringing people together, united, because I don't think we've truly ever done that, except we say we do, but I don't think we actually do. So let's do that. Let's make that change. So to that end, I want to call up 6 amazing people who have continued to build our community of excellence. So when I call your name, please just come up, and I'm going to say a little bit about each of you. I might embarrass you, potentially. So, first up, and then, I have something for each of you as well. So, are you going to help me with that part, maybe? Okay. Darlene Bell, please come to the front. Roger Backstrom. This part, maybe? Mrs. Sabrina Williams. You needed a walk-up song, Sabrina. You're too far back there. Miss Colette Guyette Hempel. Bishop Harding Smith. And Miss Comfort Dondo. We got to be strategic here. Okay. So I want to talk about y'all, if that's okay. Can you see? You're going to give them back to me?
Yes, you can give them out.
Okay. So I'm going to start with Darlene. I'm going to stand here so they can see you. So Darlene Bell, I heard about her years before I met her. I actually stalked her once on Facebook, and this was way before I was on the council, but I asked her to run. Girl, you still haven't run. One of the things that I know about Darlene is she's very committed to our community, and she's very committed to young people. Her and her husband Curtis have been foster parents to many, many children, have adopted, grandparents, now great-grandparents. She emulates motherhood, grandmotherhood, and just amazing friend. But one thing is that we were together with another friend, with her daddy. Her daddy just recently passed away, rest his soul, bless him. But one of the things that we were asking was, what's different today? Because he lived, 2 blocks from where George Floyd was murdered? And he said, hearts are now open for change. I wear this open heart ring right here in memory of Daddy, because hearts are open for change. And so thank you, Darlene, for all you do. Thank you. You get... This is a coin. I have my own coin now, you guys. Thanks to staff. Roger. Do you guys know Roger? Right? Roger owns Godfather's Pizza here in Brooklyn Park, and when I first met him, I was working at the Brooklyn Park, or I was working for Treehouse, and we were doing a community event at Brooklyn Park Treehouse. So I went to Roger and I said, can I get some pizzas donated for this event? And he said, yeah, but Godfather's nationwide supports this charity. You have to put this plaque out. I never heard of the place, but okay. I hadn't. Yeah, see, it was Boys Town in Omaha. So when I returned the plaque after the event in the little warming bags he gave me, I said, can we get together? And nothing was the same after that. This is a man right here who cares more about this community and the young people in it. He went on then to learn about Treehouse, where I said, these kids are actually walking through your parking lot. He went on to start to employ Treehouse kids, and Treehouse kids are the kids who are in trouble. They're the kids who are suicidal, who are cutting on themselves, who are the bully at school and the kid who's being bullied. He mentors them. He takes them under his wing. You even hired my kid once. He went on after that to graduate from Hamlin. He's doing pretty good. Thanks, Roger. He's been a strong, member of the Lions. If you go to the Smelt Fry, I know some of you do. I've seen you there. He's a lot of the brains and the brawn behind all of those things. He lives life to its fullest. He's often traveling, and when I was a Timberwolves senior dancer, he would always text me that he was up there watching. So thank you, Roger. I'm getting a hug from you. So Mrs. Sabrina Williams. We were in a cohort at St. Thomas together for executive directors or leaders of organizations. And we got an opportunity to speak. We're actually at like a retreat up at Madden's. That's pretty nice. We should go back. So Miss Sabrina founded Excel Academy in Brooklyn Park. It's an amazing school. Roger is a huge fan as well. I know he brings pizza there all the time. 21 years now. I will say that that place touches my heart. My husband and I volunteered there in Miss Giddings' first grade classroom 2 times a week before the pandemic. And again, our lives will never be the same because of that experience. Honestly, 99% of the kids are kids of color. Many are immigrant children. John and I, it didn't matter because they knew a couple of things. We were always going to show up when we were supposed to. We cared about them, and they could count on us. And so, you're not supposed to have favorites, are you? One of my favorites, the minute she'd see me, would run full bore like I was scared that she was going to knock me over. I don't know what she had going on at home, but I don't know that she had someone that she could count on that was always going to do what they said they were going to do. And so it meant something to me on the day when it was storming out or whatever, and I'm like, do I really go? She's counting on me being there. That's what mentoring is. I encourage all of you to mentor a child in this community because you'll get more out of it than them, but you will change their life forever. So, Mrs. Williams and her staff, amazing staff, some of whom are here, do amazing things every day in our community. And so I thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. Thank you. Love you. Hi, Colette. So there used to be someone who came to all of our council meetings named Myrna. Councilmember West Hafner and I know Myrna well. She still calls us on Mondays to find out what's going on. She can't come to meetings anymore. She's not well and she's older. But we have a new Myrna. We can always count on Colette Guy at Hempel to have read the packet, have done research about what's happening in the packet, to come up and say a few words during public comment, And I love her for that. Sometimes she's calling us out for things we coulda, shoulda, woulda done, and I still love her for that. She also gives back to the community, and oftentimes she doesn't want anyone to know. And so I appreciate you and love you, and I will say this. 93rd Avenue was redone years before it was supposed to. Colette lives on 93rd Avenue. And I love that she continued to press us to get it done because she wasn't wrong. She wasn't wrong. We continued to build housing and put more people on that road, and it wasn't ready to take on that amount of traffic. And so now it is. Thank you, Colette. You got out of order here, sir. It's all right. So Bishop Harding Smith and I also met years ago when I was a waitress in North Minneapolis at a little diner on the corner. And he used to come in. Was it biscuits and gravy that you always ordered? It's the thing about being a server. You got to know your customers.
Wow. Yeah.
He had no idea that I aspired to be on the council or that I aspired to maybe someday be the mayor. And he always talked to me, he always engaged with me, and then when I got to be on the council and I got the opportunity to really learn of him and see his work, with his wife Ruth at his side, hi Ruth, love you too. There are times when we're in the trenches together, scratching our heads like, what are we gonna do now? He calls me, no matter what. John, no matter what, I take his call, don't I? Even when we're in Florida. Because I know that he's probably not just calling to say hi. His work with his team, Minnesota Acts Now, I see Scott is here. Who else? Is anybody else? Oh, you're over here. I didn't know I was on camera twice. These guys are out in our hot spots every day. It doesn't matter if it's snowing, raining, hot, cold. They're out there in the hot spots making a difference. But not just shushing the young people away. He's the one who bought the building on the corner of 63rd and Zane to turn into a youth center so that there's positive things going on that corner that have never happened before. And he will make it happen. So I can't imagine doing this job without you in the times that we're in. So thank you so much, Bishop Harding Smith. So today, I don't know if any of you pay attention to what's called the Bush Fellowship. I do, because I want one someday. I've written it twice, didn't make it past the first part. My lovely friend, Miss Comfort Nando, was today announced that she was awarded the Bush Fellowship. I like to think that this award of excellence is more important, but I know it isn't. But so when it comes to comfort, again, because I'm the mayor, my phone rings sometimes, and it's people who need help. And when it's a woman who needs help because she's being beaten, abused, this woman always picks up for me. She always responds. Because one of the things to know about me is I don't necessarily have what you need right now, but I'm a connector, and we should all be connectors. To know someone that you can connect someone else with who needs something that you trust to get it done is critically important. It doesn't matter what time of day, again, or what's going on. If she's dealing with her own struggles, It really doesn't matter. She jumps in and helps. And I am so grateful to have her in our community, in our world, and she's just getting started. She's got huge plans for things that are going to literally save lives. We got to get you with a mother's love as well. Yes. Again, connecting. We can't individually do all the things, but we can connect people who are doers to get the job done. So you all are the very best of Brooklyn Park, in my eyes. They told me I was only supposed to pick a small number of people, but I kept increasing it because I kept thinking of more people. You are what passion, community service, and dedication look like. And I'm grateful to know you and to give you this first Mayor's Award of Excellence. Wow. So thank you all. Yes. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I love you. I love you. Yeah. And we're going to, you guys will go this way. We're going to take a picture together. You guys. Okay. Did you say we're supposed to take a picture now or later? Okay. All right. As we get to the end, thriving and safe cities aren't built by accident, and they aren't actually built on rock and roll either, which kind of makes me sad, but they are literally the result of hard work, of dedication, and the unwavering belief in one another. Every person in our city is worth our respect and worth our care. So now, with clear eyes and hearts open for change, we should leave here tonight to continue on a path of making Brooklyn Park the best that it's ever been. So thank you all for being with me tonight. Let's keep moving together. And if you don't know how, just let me know and I'll hook you up with somebody and they'll get you going. We have a lot to do, but we can do it. So thank you.